Right guys, welcome back to the channel. Now today I've got some new equipment to show you. Taylormade have released their brand new Mg3 Wedges, a continuation for the Mg3 2. Now these have been in the pipeworks for quite a long time, and from a design perspective, even before hitting them, there's some big improvements. I'll talk quickly about the improvements they've made in comparison to the MG2s, and then I'll just hit a few shots. First of all, I've got two clubs in my hand today, the 52 and the 56, and they've got a brand new satin finish in the 52, and it looks good. It looks really, really good. Very similar to the P7 range in that finish. It's not bland, but it's not too shiny, and I think in some summer weather, that's the exact club I want to look at. The metallic finish as well, been quite common in wedges, and that was going to look very, very nice after a few months of rusting. Now these wedges do have the raw face that you've seen in previous Taylormade wedges, such as the big toe, the MG2s. So if you don't like rust, well, start watching the video, because rust is the exact thing you want in some wedges. I've peeled one off on the metallic wedge. I'm going to peel the other one off in the satin wedge in a second. But let's go even more into the detail of the face, because there are some big improvements here. And let's talk about the leading edge and the lowest groove, because actually the leading edge is slightly squarer, and also the actual lowest groove is now even lower, meaning that for those shots around this green, for those little half shots, if you do tend to hit it a little bit low on the face, you're going to get a lot of spin. And spin is something that Taylormade have really said for these wedges should be a big improvement. And they've also now got a brand new bounce option, the high bounce option, which I've actually got on the 52 here. So if you are one of those people that dig it, if you're playing in wet surfaces, you guys know who you are, you're going to have a look at this high bounce option. I'm actually a big fan of it. I would really like it in, let's say, a 60 degree, because I think a lot of people do tend to really go out to and dig down on it. So that'll be a really good improvement, and pushing towards that custom fitting option, which Taylormade have done spot on here. The last thing I will mention, and perhaps the most interesting thing about these clubs, is the micro cut grooves between the actual grooves. I'll show you guys a picture here. You can see there are some little indentations or micro rib grooves within the club face, meaning that you should get a lot of spin, and that's kind of wherever you hit it around the club face. It's not a high toe, but there is some progressional approach with the toe placement and the CG, as I've mentioned. But these micro cut grooves mean that from any shot, you're going to expect a lot of spin from full shots with these wedges, but from those like 10-yard chips, 40-yard, 50-yard chips, you're going to get a lot of spin. And if you're out of the rough as well, if there's a bit of moisture, those micro cut grooves will, well, you'll still get a lot of spin. So there's a lot to answer for with this testing here. So I'm going to hit some shots now. I've got about 10 or 20 yards or so. I'm going to move back progressionally and hit both clubs as well. I think these should get a lot of spin, but I'm more interested actually about, not really spin, more just the actual performance of them in terms of the feel as well. I've heard a lot of reviews saying that these are a very soft feeling club. Some previous Taylormade wedges have been quite clicky. So it'll be interesting to see how these perform. So as I said, I've got the 52 and the 56 here. You guys may be wondering what that box is. Well, this came in a very nice media box. That's got a towel, which is very helpful today, and also a groove cleaner, which is even more helpful when I'm on the course and playing some thick rough and absolutely destroy the face. So let's just take the raw face, the top preferred off the 52. Oh, why am I so bad at this? Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to hit the 56 first. I think it's always down to personal preference as to the finish that you guys would like. They're both going to rust over time. I actually prefer the new satin finish. It looks really, really nice. Now at address, this club, I use the high toe for my 56 and 60, and my 52 is actually the big foot, the raw big foots. In comparison to this one looks a little bit smaller. I'm kind of referencing it maybe to the Ping Glide Forge Pro. Not as small, but a little more of a compact club. So interestingly enough there, that was a good shot, but that was not a good strike. But then that's when those micro rib grooves come into play and still give you some pretty decent performance. You always do have to wonder with little improvements to iterations like this. You ought to think, is this just a very little thing that you can't notice? Because I think a lot of people who have probably just purchased the MG2s are now looking at the MG3s thinking, is there that much of a difference? And look, everyone talks about spin, but I think it's more about the actual performance of the club, like feel. And that one there was really nice. Just went past, but you get a kind of one hop and then you see it check up a little bit. Is it the most spinny wedge I've ever tried? I mean, no, but that's just one asset that you should be thinking about when looking at a wedge for feel, when comparing it to other wedges I've tried over the past month or two, this one's up there for these little pitch shots. Okay, I'm a bit further back now. At that distance that Taylormade have said, you should really see that improvement in performance, spin, feel at 40 yards or so. I'm gonna hit the 52 first, just hit a really cut off kind of hacksaw swing and just see what results I get, and then move up to that flighted 56. I don't tend to hit 52s from this distance, but I think it could get some nice results. Oh, I did, there you go. It was a 1 hop, 2 hops, and then it just went and just whoop, killed it. That is a very professional shot. It's a shame that I blocked it. It is a shame. So one more, it's a really nice feel. And I've said it so many times, but I'm trying to really give some positive reinforcement to this club because I actually had the Mg3 TW on the bag and put it back basically because it was just a little bit almost pleasing to hit. This is a big improvement. Spin, bounce, hit the GoPro. Oh, another good shot there. I'm loving that. Love that flight. I think I should hit 52 more often. Change it up to the 56 now. Now with a bit more height, more higher launch, should maybe get more spin, but I was hitting a really low fizzer there, so I'm going to change it up a little bit. Although I prefer the satin finish, the difference in colour from the face to the actual black finish itself is good. It's a very pleasing club. That's good. Look at me go. Look at me go. If you guys have seen my previous testing from this distance, I'm bad. I'm really bad. I can't get close. They're all within about 6 foot so far. And that was changing my shot shape. It's gone from a 52 to a 56. Happy days. That should have so much spin on it. Yep, indeed. That actually had too much spin on it there. I caught that a groove low, but that's where those micro rib grooves and actually the lower positions of the grooves come into play. Didn't hole. Oh, wow, 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 wow. I then moved back to 100 yards and 125 yards for the sandwich and the gap wedge. Now what's interesting here is I didn't really notice an increase in spin that much in comparison to when I was hitting the 50-yard shots. I'd say there is going to be an increase, and if I went to a TrackMan I would be able to see it, but the actual response I got for the greens, for the gap wedge it was a little bit more. I'd noticed some zip back, which you would expect because I'm getting that higher launch and it was a little bit into the wind, but nothing that different. So you can see the big improvement there is for that 50-yard shot, which is exactly what Taylormade said. I then wanted to test those micro rib grooves even more, so I went into some bunkers. I went into some bunkers here in the short game area, and I also went into some rough, some light rough and then some thick rough to see what difference I got in comparison to my other Taylormade wedges. Now the bunker was pretty special, I will be honest. When you did get that good connection, you could see that one hop and stop, and it was very pleasing. That's with both clubs, but I especially noticed it with the 56 if I was hitting that slightly medium to long bunker shot. The high bounce with the 52 made it a viable option in the bunker because you do tend to dig it down just a little bit. So they're both top marks for me out of the bunker, but to be honest, when I'm comparing it to the old Mg2, not that much difference. Same in terms of the actual response I was getting, but again, that feel, big improvement. Now out of the rough, I'll be honest, not too much different. The micro rib grooves do help, but you aren't getting massive amounts of spin. It could be down to some other factors, but if you're going thick rough, you're not really expecting a lot of spin. Out of first cut, you did notice a little bit of reception, but the big improvement here, as I've mentioned already, is that response that you get off the face in terms of feel. These, for me, are up there with any premium wedge of 2021, 2020, going back as far as you want. I don't tend to recommend people upgrade from a previous iteration. Let's say if you had the Sim to the Sim 2, I wouldn't really say, oh, you have to upgrade. This product here, the Mg3, for me is the biggest improvement I've seen from a previous iteration for a long, long time. Not saying the Mg2s were bad, a lot of people had them in their bag, including some PGA Tour players, but whatever criticism you guys could put towards the Mg2, Taylormade have completely fixed it. And I just wish I had a 60-degree wedge for this now, because I would have the 52, 56 and 60 and I'd be all set, because these are absolutely going in my bag. They are pushing it over any other ones that I've reviewed over the last few months, just because you get that exceptional feel, but you also are able to really shot shape it and have a lot of shot creation wherever you want to go. From that 50-yard shot, the ones that you see that one hop and stop, you usually see that on the PGA Tour and that's it. With the MG3s, I'm thinking you may be seeing it a lot more on your local golf course, because these do spin a lot and they have some really good feedback on them as well. The price of these, as ever, I'll put it right here for you, and these are actually already out at retail. So get your hands on them while you can, because I think once people start catching on, I've already seen some really good feedback for this. But once people start catching on, these are going to absolutely fly off the shelves. I'm being completely honest with you guys here, because as much as I want to be, I guess, a bit mean and say, no, don't upgrade, don't do it. If I see a good club, I'm going to say it. And these MG3s, they are a big improvement. This alongside the P790, Taylormade have done very, very well this year with those irons and wedges. Let me know what you guys think about the new MG3 wedges. Do you like the design? They are a little bit laid back now in comparison to the MG2s, a little bit less out there, but I think the classical approach is very good for some wedges. If you guys are new to the GolfMagic YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button down below to keep up to date with all of our videos. I've got a few more videos involving the MG3 coming very, very soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. For the next one, I will see you guys later.